Welcome to the Shells Exchange podcast, where we discuss all things women, whether it's dating, relationships, motherhood to careers, entrepreneurship, or securing your seat at the table. The Shells Exchange gives influencers who may not be considered mainstream a platform to share their perspectives in a comfortable and safe space. Jessica Sinclair is the CEO and founder of Sinclair Master of Ceremonies. Jessica created Sinclair Master of Ceremonies, the umbrella under which she provides MC services, and in addition to on-air hosting, interviews, public speaking, vlogging, and voiceovers. Today she is a multi-recipient of the Wed & Wire's Couples Choice Awards and has recently won the Caribbean American Healthcare Award. As a registered nurse, she holds the role of a cardiac special procedure RN at Mount Sinai Beth Israel, where she assists cardiologists with procedures such as Cardioversion, Stress Echocardiogram, nuclear stress echocardiogram, etc. Jessica is also the founder of Network Like You Mean It, a workshop that provides tips on how to identify, cultivate, and maintain meaningful relationships through networking. Jessica has a passion for activism, empowering young girls and family. One of Jessica's beliefs is that one of the most essential factors to a successful event or business is communication. Jessica is a self-published author, Network Like You Mean It, a nurse's journey to entrepreneurship and purpose, to empower others to strive for greatness. It's available in print and on Amazon. Jessica Sinclair is a board member of Fearless Women, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide the resources needed to heal, develop a healthy, positive mindset, and take back control of your life through health and wellness sessions, group and individual workshops, sisterhood gatherings, and personal and professional development programs and retreats. She is the co-founder of Nurses of Integrity, a platform to inspire and empower nurses. I want to jump right in and give our audience an example of who you were when you were a child versus who you are now.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a great question. I've done so many interviews. I've never asked that. So kudos to you. So thank you so much, first of all, to have me on this platform. I think it's so amazing for you to give us the voice or allow us to share our truth with your listeners. So amazing. Thank you so much. So I think I'm pretty much the same. I don't know. I feel like my mom always saw this energetic personality, this young girl that always said hi to everyone, she was kind of annoyed at times because she's like, they're strangers, but I really and truly have this energy that can't be contained. I am the youngest of 5, and I think that has a lot to do with who I am today because I kind of saw them grow up. But I was always a leader. I don't know. I was bossing everybody around in the backyard saying, do this step. I had a dance group at the 6th grade dance. Like, why did I want to entertain? I didn't have another dance to align it with, but I knew I always wanted to always be great at things. So I want to say, I don't know. I'm the same person. Now I know my worth. Probably back then, I was just easily to say, all right, well, they told me to go sit down, so I'm going to sit down. But now, I think that's the difference. So now I'm more empowered to say, hey, haters are going to hate. Not everybody has what I have to offer. So you kind of take everything with a grain of salt. But I think I'm owning this energetic butterfly. So maybe that's the difference.
That's good. That's good. I'm also the youngest of 5.
Shut up!
I am, but I'm the complete opposite, I think.
That's what makes you you. So yeah, you gotta.
Yeah. So you have a few different layers to you. So you're a nurse. We know you're a nurse, but you're also an author. You're also a speaker. You're a motivator. You have you're a co-founder of your own organization. Talk to us about all of those different things that you do, all of those brands, and what was your motivation to even do that?
So the motivation to have the multiple platforms, or I like to call it the multiple streams, is because I didn't really see people doing it well. I think people have different platforms. We all have great ideas, but execution is very big with me. And so sitting as a member in different organizations, waiting to be called upon was so tiresome and bothersome in different points of my life. So I said, if I'm going to reinvent a wheel, I have to nail it. I want to leave a legacy behind. I think I was very in tune with that very early on. Like my mom's like, why are you taking all of these wealth building classes? You're only in the 8th grade. But you know, there was something in me that knew that what I'm going to do next is not really for me, it's for others. And so the sense of community is very big with everything that I do. I think that it just made sense for me to have Nurses of Integrity, a program to celebrate nurses in a point where I didn't feel celebrated in my career. I am a 3-year nurse. Sometimes it's crazy saying it because I've done and I've achieved certain things. I got the Caribbean American Award, and I'm just like, well, it was only my first year as a nurse. So, you know, I always tell my students, you know, people will see the good in you, although you don't see it for yourself. I think your viewers should definitely let that sink in. And when people give you that credit, you take it and do something with it. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, it's Jessica Sinclair, but there's more substance behind that. So Nurses of Integrity just came organically. Sinclair Master of Ceremonies, knowing that I have this energy, what do I do with it? I'm gonna grab a mic. I'm going to make you feel like a celebrity. I'm going to make you feel like you're the only guy or guy in the room, a woman in the room, and your audience members will feel like they're a part of it. There's one thing to sell a ticket at an event, but there's another thing to give an experience. And I think my clients know that when they hire me, that experience starts from the moment I get there. You know, I'm checking with vendors. A lot of MCs stay behind the DJ booth. I'm a mover. I want them to know that I'm the facilitator. I make my presence known. So that manifests by me just doing events. Hey, I'm here. I want to rock your mic. And then I found the value. Again, people will see things in you like, Jessica, you have to start putting a price on this service. And sometimes it's hard because, you know, you're valuing yourself. So I had to pay for tools such as a marketing coach to say, hey, you're doing this not as a business, but as you being Jessica Sinclair. You can't do that anymore, right? How many hours are on your feet? How many hours are you prepping for an event? It's so important for us to ask for help because they also bring out things out of you that you didn't see. My mindset wasn't business. It was from this nurturing standpoint. You know, as far as being a nurse, that came from my background. You know, once you are a Jamaican, as I am, again, your journey is so different when you are a child that's the only American born. There's a lot of pressures that come with that. And I think once you start talking about it, and once I started talking amongst my family about it, like, oh, wow, we didn't know you had all this pressure on you. We didn't put it on you, but me, myself, Jessica, knowing that I wasn't a part of certain conversations because I wasn't from Jamaica in that one bedroom with 4 children. So I missed that piece. So I said, okay, I missed that. I want to make them proud to know that they have me here in the USA. They achieved this American dream. My parents are so humble. They provided from nothing. So as a nurse, not knowing that I wanted to be one, honestly, I come from a PR background and marketing, and the recession happened, and my dad was just like, it'd be so great to have a nurse. And I'm like, oh, hint, hint. Well, my sister's a social worker. I don't see her going back. She just finished her master's at that time. I guess it has to be me, but I didn't want it. I fought that. But things have to happen, like tragic things, like how we're going through COVID and how you and I are having this dialogue. I normally would be out networking. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah. So this is my networking day. So when persons like you email me and a crisis has happened around to allow me to have my time, it's a no-brainer for me to seize an opportunity. But I think a lot of people don't pivot. They're still in the rut. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rushing anyone's process, but within your process, you have to look out and say, okay, I'm going to go and email someone. I'm going to receive that email, right? And respond timely. So things of that nature. I think I've always had that foundation of purpose and seizing the moment. So when I create these different platforms, it has to be right. It just always has to be a right time for me to say, I'm going to change the narrative. I'm going to grow and bring other people with me. It's two different things when you want to grow for yourself, but when you have the community on your back, it's a whole different conversation now, you know? So people ask, how do I do it? You know, I say, God, he strengthens me. And when he wants me to sit down, he's going to make me sit down, but right now it's not the time. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. You have a lot of things in common with me. I have a few nurses in my family. My sister's a nurse. My best friend's a nurse.
Nice.
My parents are actually from Guyana. And
Okay.
my aunt, before anybody came, my aunt was one of the first people that came from my family as a nurse.
See?
So nursing is what got her into America. And then she brought the whole family, you know, one by one, everybody started coming. So
exactly. And I tell people, you know, that's what they know. And I couldn't knock them, but they didn't know about entertainment. They didn't know what PR meant. They're like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? They know careers, which are great. Don't get me wrong. The lawyers, the doctors, and everything else, all is well. But what I'm showing them now is passive income and multiple streams. And my dad has my box of books in his trunk. He's a proud cab driver. This is my daughter. He goes, and you know, to see him even holding something tangible of mine, it is oh boy, it definitely brings tears to the eyes, because they didn't know about it. They didn't know better, right? That generation didn't know about this, so they're just like, wow, Jess, it would be you. It would be you, the American one. It would be you. So I totally get your story with them coming you know, from back home, only knowing those avenues to get that dream, because it's stable. Nursing is a stable job, you know, it's flexible. And to be where I'm at as a special cardiac nurse, you know, it's not easy, you know, being in that room in the OR where you're looked upon really and truly. The cardiology team, they look at you as an equal. You know, you have to know your medication. You are putting patients to sleep. So that comes with a different skill set. But if I didn't take a chance, I wouldn't have got that. If you know what I mean? If I didn't interview my interviewee, let that soak in, I wouldn't have got that position. You know, so there's definitely growth in nursing. To all the nurses listening, use that med surg experience, which we normally get coming out of school. You're lucky to get into a specialty in a few years, but don't let that pigeonhole you. You are so much greater than that. Nurse entrepreneurship is something I think that women have started circa 5 years ago, and it's booming. Hashtag nursepreneurs. We're out there, you know, and we're consultants. The list goes on and on, what you can do with your nursing hat. So we are more than the bedside, for sure, for sure.
thank you for that point, because I have these conversations all the time where we talk about how careers have changed over the years. It's not the same as, you know, 20 and 30 years ago. Now there's so much that you can do in healthcare. I
Girl,
used to want to be in healthcare, but I wanted to be at a practice level, you know, a doctor and things like that. And then once I noticed I didn't want to do it, I'm like, well, that's it for healthcare. There's nothing else I can do. Not true. I work in healthcare now. So that's good that you mentioned that. I appreciate that.
yes. What do you do in healthcare now? I'm curious.
I work in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and Health Equity. So I'm a
Girl,
program coordinator for pipeline programs for the School of Medicine, and we do a whole bunch of other fun projects. But what my main purpose there is to provide opportunities for people that look like me and you to get into the healthcare field.
girl, we have to talk offline, because my antennas are going, just because I have these systems, right? These tools in place for us. So I would love to tap into that at another conversation. That's great, you know, for you to see that there was other things that you could do in healthcare that wasn't medication administration. You know what I mean? Stuff
Yeah,
like that. Stuff like that.
absolutely. Now, you did mention networking.
Yes.
Talk about that, because you
Love
have
it.
a book, Network Like You Mean It.
Yes, a nurse's journey to entrepreneurship and passion. So, Network Like You Mean It is a platform that I created. I want to say last year. Time was flying. I started it because as a new brand, let's not even say brand, as a new excited person screaming off the mountaintops, I have a business, hire me, book me, things of that nature. And it was just crickets. And I always tell people there's one thing to complain, but there's another thing to have solutions. And I said to myself, I am so tired of complaining. Why don't I use the tips that I've been working and using day out, week after week? And it started working when I started to apply my tips. And the platform now has grown from me teaching my private workshops to teaming up with colleges, universities, corporate. So when you said about the diversity and inclusion, those are the alignments that I want to use and have persons grab these tools, because honestly, it's not taught. It is not taught. Just like how they say in school, who taught you to balance a checkbook, right? Who told you how to follow up in the 24 hours, how to get that email subject to stand out? I'm teaching soft skills here. The soft skills that I'm teaching is going to help you achieve greatness, rather it's career, because not everybody, listen, is an entrepreneur, but if you are in an environment where you want to be a leader, these tools will help you stay in that room, right? Create different tools, and also to leverage what you have. And I think a lot of people don't know the tools that they have in their toolbox, and Network Like You Mean It cultivates that dialogue. And so, I have these talks and everyone is just like, why didn't I think about it? And I love that, because you have so much things going on in your mind day in and day out. The tools keep you on course. I don't want to say they're easy to use, because you have to be diligent, right? It's like riding a bicycle. So you have to use them day in and day out. But networking is our foundation. Collaboration comes from my networking. Speaking with you today, now I can refer your show to so-and-so, and someone referred you said to me. So that's the collaboration. There's no growth without networking. I think once people switch that, stop thinking about competition, think about collaboration. That is what you will get from reading my book. You will read that people that look like me do not like me. It took me a while to understand that I'm very emotional creature, but it's tough to digest when a leader looks like you and they don't like you, so how do you pivot from that? The journey teaches you that, and I think that's why journey books are so important for us to invest in. But networking is absolutely everything. It's my true joy. I say it's my true calling to be able to teach my tips to like-minded individuals. It's not for everyone. You have to be ready to receive. You have to be ready to receive the good, and so let these tools help set that up for you.
And what age group is your book geared towards? Because I like to say that I wish that we were taught some of these things at the high school level.
Yes.
So that when we went into the real world, it didn't hit us so hard.
Yes.
I think networking should start there, but what do you think?
Absolutely. So the platform is for persons in the 7th grade, right? So from 7th grade, I'm not playing around with these children. They're like, yeah, Ms. Sinclair, I volunteered today. Well, you're working on your network now, aren't you? So, it's a very great question that you just asked. So it is from the 7th grade level to the C-suite level. Everything is changed depending on my audience, but I need the 7th graders, the junior high school students, to understand that they have to pay it forward from now. Are you good at math? Why are you not mentoring someone in your class? That's a D student. So I make it practical for them. But in regards to the book, the Nursing Journey book of the amazing 30 co-authors, I want to say is that it's that woman or man, it's not gender specific, that has some tools, right? May have that degree, but doesn't want to pursue that degree. So I would say that if you are a college student, get the book. You do have some ambitious high school seniors. I was one of them that knew that my parents didn't have the money. So what are you going to do? You're going to write that essay. You're going to be diligent to get all of these offers that I got. I didn't get it only by grades. It's because I put the work in. So maybe if you're a high school senior, get this book. But as far as the workshop, I have taught at some amazing charter schools in New York City that saw the value. And I think it comes from the leadership. Not every school sees value. Hey, and it's unfortunate, because I think that comes back full circle when your student walking across that stage, it can give you a shot and say, hey, Dr. Phil or whoever, thank you for having this workshop, so you always get it later on, the feel good feels, as I call them. But yeah, the 7th grader can definitely sit in my workshop for sure.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Might have. That's great to know. What are some of the challenges you face? Because you have a lot going on, all good things, but we all know nursing, one, is a very demanding job.
Yes.
With all the other things you have going on, how do you balance it all?
Well, I had to make a conscious decision to say, you're more than this, and like I say, it's one of those things when you say it like that, people are like, oh, well, you think you're better than where you are coming from. But I already told you guys from the beginning of this chat that I'm about the passive and the multiple streams. So it is hard to run from your passion. I ran from it. I tried when people were just like, get on the red carpet. This is when E News was a go-to to see who wore it best. And I articulated these hard Greek words. People's last names are so long. And, in nursing school, they're like, why are you here? And I'm just like, family, that was a passion behind that. And then I couldn't hide anymore. And then the bookings were increasing for weddings. And I said, okay, Jess, how do you feel right now? Suited up in your uniform. And there was days when I just wasn't feeling like Jessica. The energy, your body will tell you automatic how you feel. And I think if people would listen to the signs of their body, I was so down. I was working in oncology. Whoo! You have to pour so much into them and they deserve it. But I wasn't myself anymore. So I said, okay, this is your last year. So basically what I did, I told you from jump, I seized the opportunities. There was a really good program at my hospital where you can transition from the associate nurse to the bachelor's. So I knew I had that fruit. So I said, okay, you're going to stay here, invest another year in and get that BSN. I knew when I got that BSN now, I can then be more of that community nurse that I knew I was supposed to. So then that goes and I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting bookings for wellness talks. Okay, but you still have a full-time job. So right now I am a part-time nurse and nurses are like, you're bugging. How could you miss out on the action? I'm like, what action? Not going to the bathroom? No, let's be realistic here. Eating, and you're eating so fast, you have indigestion issues. Nurses have a lot of things that's going on besides mental health, and to me, because I knew I had so many hidden talents, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough anymore. So I'm a part-time nurse working in special procedures. I work 3 days, 5-hour days. You can't have it all at once. And so I took a pay cut. I took a pay cut from my healthcare career to be able to fuel my company. And that's what it is. So now with COVID and things of that nature, I'm able to have conversations like this. In the back of my mind now, I'm saying to myself, although I'm not getting that check, I'm so more fulfilled. Fulfillment is something I can't really put a price tag on. And I'm able to have different vehicles now with this book to have this collaborative piece. I couldn't have that working full time, 12-hour shifts. There's no way. I was on the phone in the bathroom like, all right, I'm going to call. And you can't really whisper because then the client's like, what are you doing there? So you can't have it all. And I don't think we all can really and truly soar having your hands in different things of that nature. So something has to take the L, as I say, and it was being a full-time nurse. I can always go back, and also as a part-time nurse, I can always grab on hours, but it's on my time, right? Time is a currency here. And I think that people need to understand what that means, that, we all have the same amount of hours in the day. How are you maximizing it to fulfill yourself? Not even the dreams, right? The dreams will be there. But in order to feel fulfilled, that's the only way you're going to achieve it. So, and having time to nurture your mind, I have that now. I get up in the morning and I don't have to rush. You know what I mean? It's just a whole different lifestyle that I'm on now. But I'm here I have so much to offer. And so it would be a disservice to not tap into my fulfillment anymore. Yeah.
I love that. I,
Yeah.
I love that. I did not expect you to say that. You went part-time. I didn't. I
Yeah.
thought you had, I don't know, a calendar trick or like a timer trick or something like that. I didn't expect that at all.
No, I had to.
Yeah, so many people don't do it. We
They
go to
don't.
work, we're unfulfilled, we're bitter, we're miserable, we're dragging our feet to get there, dragging our feet home, and then back the next day.
Yeah, yeah. That was me for the last year of my nursing tour, as I call it. I call it the nursing tour. But the thing is, now that you have the part-time, or now that I have the part-time, you have to maximize the time. So I feel like it's a little bit harder because I have to master my own time. It's one thing to clock in. You know, you're there for 12 hours, clock is running. There's days it's like you didn't do enough. Where was the system you have in place? But you have to understand that too. Every day looks different. Every day brings a different energy behind the computer. So I'm definitely working harder now than I think I've done ever in my life. So you have to master your schedule and everything like that, because it's you, right? You're doing it. I now have an assistant. That didn't come easy, you know, especially now that my income is a little bit more strapped, right? But you know, you can't do it all. You got to boss up. You have interns, things. You know, you have to figure out how to master the help that you can get within that budget. I think that people let fear stifle them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have affirmations. If I can bring this computer, or, you know, have you come to my room, you will see affirmations everywhere. I'm the post-it queen, because it's not easy knowing that I walked away from a stable salary. There's days I have a post-it like, you did the right thing, girl. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It will be worth it at the end when you leave something for nephews, nieces, children, which I don't have yet. Gotta find someone. Gotta put that on my to-do list. But no, it's a great feeling when you can say, hey, I'm gonna do it, man. And but God, he has to help me. He has to, because you put me here, right? So I put a lot of pressure on God. And we should. That's what he wants. He wants us to call upon him. So that spiritual piece is everything. Just, you know, write down things actionable, right? Have a SMART goal. Make sure it's a short-term goal. Make sure, because I think, you know, when people say, hey, where are you going to be in 10 years? That's on that long-term list. I'm going to put it there, but let's scale back. I think too that people's ideas are just way too big for where they're at. And this is real talk, because I'm going through this every day, that I have to have scalable things to achieve. So I think once you have things that you can, like, bite-sized things, you can do it. You guys can definitely do it, for sure, for sure.
That warms my heart.
Well, thank you.
You gave us so many gems already, but I do want to ask if you have a piece of advice for people who are listening. It could be anything.
Ooh, a piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
The advice, I think, that just came over me as I said it, is to just get started, please. Can you just get started? Can you share something with us? Because we all have something so great. There's one thing to be created, right? We all got created for a reason, but understanding why you were created, whoo, you know, will never be enough. You know, you'd always find out how to get to that yes. Just get started, people. Get started. Get that pen and paper. I visualize everything. The vision board is always there in my mind, also on my wall. But you have to get started today. You have to get started today. And I would love to follow up with you and say, who got started today? Because it's something that is it's easy to do, but a lot of people make it hard. I think that's what it is. We manifest too much negative vibes. It's easy for our brain, and this is like the nurse in me talking. Understand that we have chemical neurotransmitters in our brain that it's easy to produce negative thoughts. That is a fact. You can Google that. So it takes so much out of us to get that one positive thought to come in, for it to see. So it's bigger than you guys that are listening. but you have to fight like hell every day. Just like when you brush your teeth, you get up, you got to fight for what's yours. It is not going to come to you. So please get started. Get started. Share with me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to collaborate with you.
What are some things, like you exude this confidence that I really, really love, right?
Thank you.
How did you get to that point? What are some things that you did to get here?
This is such a great question because I'm having a workshop on how to boost confidence, because I think that, yeah, so this is like, stay tuned for my workshop. It's coming to you guys. Defining the why. Defining the why is the top of my list on confidence boosting, because once you understand, again, I have to go back to why you're here. I feel that nothing can stop me. So I told you that my mom, I didn't tell you my mom's an entrepreneur. She has arthritis, can't work anymore. Dad's a cab driver. So my why is so bigger than everything else that it helps with my confidence boosting, because I have systems in place, as I told you guys, that help me with the tips. It helps me. Systems are great. It makes you accountable. When you have knowledge at something, so you said you work in diversity and inclusion, you have so much projects that will boost your confidence because you did it with love. You got great remarks for it. You know, getting great feedback, good or bad, will help you so much to boost your confidence. So that's a tip too, to be a leader at something. Hone on your skills, work on something to boost your confidence. But the mindset piece, oh boy, it has to be there, because people are here to tear you down, right? And it's not, like I said, it's not that they want to do it, but we talked about the chemicals in our brain. It's easier for them to say something negative than something positive. So I think understanding my why, and the why is so big. So it's like defining the why, step one. Understanding why you were born, step two. Those are the systems I have in place to make me this, as you say, this, this woman that radiates confidence. But it's having dialogues. Repetition is everything, right? So you own it. You be the master at it. Nobody can tell you anything, right? There's so many people that can teach the same thing, but it won't be like me, right? So understand that too. That looking at what somebody else is doing, if you're not pulling the good from what they're doing, it's handicapping you. So learn from, we're in an era where there's everything on the internet. So why aren't you using those tools to take a free masterclass on your field? You're just doing yourself a disservice, but confidence comes from repetition. And so I feel like that's the only way to boost that ego, that we all have one. And it's good. It's good. It makes you keep going and knowing your why, of course. Got to know that why. Got to. You have to write on Post-it tonight or what time this is being aired, morning, day. What is my why? Right? Get started. Like, these are the things that you need to have around you as visual aids, because we're living in a society where there's a lot of fluff out there. Instagram famous. What is that? I don't even know what that means, man, because I work so hard, and you have some people that get things easier than we do. And that's a whole different conversation, but, but for this particular confidence boosting tip is definitely to understand the why and own whatever it is you're doing. Own it so you can be a master at it. And that would definitely boost your confidence for sure.
Ooh, okay. Jessica, you gave us so much information already. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to listen again and take my notes. I do have some notes.
Yes. I love it. I love it. You have such an amazing energy too that makes it definitely easy to talk to, which makes it so much easier for me to want to give you all the sauce, as they say, right? So each one help one. That's the foundation that I came from. So yeah, I hope your viewers or your listeners definitely take some notes.
I hope so too. Tell us where to find you.
Absolutely. So I keep everything on brand. Go on my website. It's kind of the hub. It's It's Jessica Sinclair.com, ITS, JessicaSinclair.com. And on my site, you'll see all my LinkedIn handles, Instagram. Definitely sign up for my newsletter. I do monthly tips, and it's not just one tip. I give you examples of how to use the tip, which that's what the students want. I got to give the people what they want. So every month there's a wellness tip within that newsletter. Sign up and meet me at my next event. Also, I have a newsletter like that because I want you guys to connect and to build. But I'm having some great workshops coming up soon. So definitely look out for them on Instagram. It's Jessica Sinclair.
Thank you for listening to the Shells Exchange podcast. You can check us out at theshellsexchange.com and the Shells Exchange on Instagram. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.